Hi sir and ma'am. So in this presentation I am going to describe about meta learning with implicit gradients, and this is the original work done by Arvind Rajeshwaran and co-authors, and here I am going to present this work just as a presentation. So moving to second slide now. uh, as described in the assignment task list, here are the four contents of this presentation: motivation, key algorithm, limitations, and takeaways, key takeaways. So let's jump to the motivation. So previously we have the techniques that help us in shortage of data, as we have already studied transfer learning and multitask learning. So have already studied about these concepts, though for the purpose of completeness. Firstly, transfer learning helps in fine tuning the parameters for individual tasks, and you have a giant data set, say ImageNet for example, and now you want to train a neural network on top of this big data set, such that now you have learned parameters and stored them. And in transfer learning you adapt your previously learned model on top of another task to speed up your classification process, right? So in other words, you initialize your new tasks neural network with previous parameters and fine tune it to task specific parameters. And in multitask learning, so secondly, multitask learning has one shared single neural network that performs different tasks with a single model, with multiple heads, right? And multiple heads and outputs. So in other words, you want to learn the features from one class that could help build the similarities and differences between multiple classes. And in addition, you have to deal with the trade-off with class-wise accuracies, right? So in multitask learning specifically, because one neural network is not only performing classification for one task, rather multiple tasks, thus limiting the overall accuracy. So these were the previously studied concepts. Now, specifically in advanced machine learning, we have studied meta learning. So now meta learning can be taken as an analog to transfer learning, and in the sense that you are not having the giant data set. You don't have a luxury of giant data set as if you are getting in transfer learning, right? So rather you just start with a random guess of initial parameters. And now the interesting part comes when, let's say in a neural network, you backpropagate the error from the end of the outer loop, that is the environment here in meta learning, and to the root or the inner loop, that is meta train. These are the terminologies described in the original meta learning paper, that is learning to learn, by the famous author. Now, in simpler words, let's say you have theta 0 as your random initial guess of your parameters, right, for your data set. And this can be a completely random, any absurd parameter, okay? Now you go forward and train a learner based on these individual tasks with their respective individual data sets. So imagine top level or the outer level parameter theta, and your task specific parameters phi's, and phi fees, and these phi's, these task specific parameters are going to update your global parameter theta. This is the main concept in meta learning. Okay, so you go forward and train a learner based on these individual tasks with their respective individual data sets. And once once each of these tasks get trained on their training data sets, then evaluate on their testing data sets or validation data sets, right? So these validation and testing is done task specifically with the task specific classifier. You test or evaluate your task specific data set or testing data set, and once the evaluation is done, they report back a number, and this number is back propagate to the learner of the task in form of generalization error for that particular task. Mm. All such errors, like the number we were talking about, this number is back propagate to the learner of the task in the form of generalization error for that particular task, right? So all these small tasks, or all these individual learning tasks, produces individual numbers, that is their losses, right? And these losses are globally averaged to fit in with the global parameter theta. Okay, all such errors are collected and updates the initial random guess theta 0 on a collective basis, right? So we measure that how easy is to adapt initial parameters to the tasks on their data sets. And now this updation is iterative such that you reach a threshold for theta. We want to reach threshold because we don't want to overfit our training data, right? So that's why, to prevent the overfitting, we are introducing this threshold. To incorporate new tasks, this becomes much easier in this kind of scenario, because you just have to update your guessing parameter, right? And even if it trained earlier for previous tasks, theta 0, you just have to update your guessing parameter and add another task in your task list. So the new model is expected to be more robust and accurate because it has learned new information. And it will be much more robust from your previous model, as it would be able to adapt quickly the initial parameters to its dataset. And the model will be good in terms of the previous model that had the task just trained on its small dataset from scratch. So earlier what you were doing is essentially what you were doing earlier is learning those tasks individually on in their task specific datasets. But now after adding another task, you are introducing another level of dataset, another task specific dataset, right? And this will help your globally averaged parameter theta to be more robust against more unseen data, right? So this is what the author has been saying in the paper, that model will be able to adapt it quickly, and it will become more robust, and the model will be good in terms of that previous model. And all of this optimization is optimized under gradient descent only. Okay, so this is what the foundation of this paper is saying about meta learning. Now what this paper has contributed is about the implicit model agnostic meta learning. So let us talk about the generation wise meta learning procedures, that is model agnostic meta learning, then first order model agnostic meta learning, and implicit model agnostic meta learning. So basically, earlier meta learning with gradients was performed under mammal scheme, right? So in this kind of training procedure, we start with the random initial parameter guess, that is the same. Now you want that initial guess to optimize such that your super convergence you super converge with your tasks, right? In simpler words, you don't know the exact gradient initially and come up with a gradient such that it directs an average pointer. So basically what you can see here is let's zoom a bit, and suppose you start with this random parameter theta. Okay, and now you reach towards your task specific, all these are task specific parameters. Okay, now you want to optimize in such a way that your global average and these task specific parameters are close to each other with the delta threshold, such that it doesn't overfit. Now the trick is how do you back propagate it? So what earlier tasks have been doing, so in this first generation of model agnostic meta learning, that is vanilla meta learning, you are just back propagating through the same procedure, same non-linear procedure. And imagine this would be thousands and millions of task specific parameters. This would become a huge matrix, right? For your back propagation, right? And this will be highly computationally expensive. This is what they are saying in this vanilla mammal, that you just want to so basically how do you back propagate these gradients from your task specific parameters, right? So what earlier they have been doing is following the same procedure, where the gradient was forward propagation was done, right? But that will be highly computationally expensive, and we don't want to do that, right? So this is why author came up with another approach. But let's just understand why this vanilla model agnostic meta learning works, right? So basically we want to understand, uh, like in simpler words, you don't know the exact gradient initially, right? And come up with a gradient such that it directs an average pointer from the initial random parameter of all your tasks. So this is what it is doing, that is averaging your this is the orange arrow description, and it is saying that whatever gradients you accumulate, just globally average it, and point your initial random theta or your initial random parameter in terms of the average of all these parameters. Okay, so in order to find that better guess parameter to update your initial random guess, you have to calculate the loss. And global loss function is an average of all the individual loss functions or the task specific loss functions that are accumulated across tasks individually, right? So that is how the gradient is the sum of all the task specific gradients, and those are with respect to original parameter. So in other words, like you just start that global random guess parameter, and and that is your theta, right? And um, like uh, so basically the gradient from the adapted task specific neural network has to be back propagated. Okay, but the question is, how would you do that along with the same learning procedure, that is this green line? The solution to this problem is to answer how can I adjust my initial parameter theta such that task specific loss function, that is your task specific loss function final parameters go in the same direction, right? You want to you want to actually converge your initial theta as the same direction as if uh, your task specific losses, right? This is what I have been saying so far. Now however, this is very tricky because the procedure is highly non-linear and we have to undergo iterative optimization for this particular task, right? So that is why we have performed back propagation through the same HGD optimization procedure with the same key number of steps, which is highly expensive, right? This is what you are doing here. However, in first order mammal that follows the same procedure as mammal, that is vanilla mammal, but it performs the aggregation or average of all task specific gradients and point the initial random guess theta 0 to the average direction of all task specific gradients. So initially this was done randomly, and in first order mammal you are pointing out to the average direction of all these vectors. However, in our paper, that is the paper in which the authors have mentioned about the implicit gradients, whatever we want to discuss about this paper is this is what making your life simpler, with making your computationally expensive calculations simpler and much cheaper than your vanilla mammal and first order mammal. This is what the author has proposed here. Like in this work, implicit gradient descent puts the learning algorithm to bypass the necessity of back propagation of the gradients, right? On the same path. So as you can see, your gradients are not back propagated as if this was seen in green line in mammal, right? These are back propagated directly such that you optimize your theta and your task specific parameters and your global parameter. You optimize that with respect to your quadratic curve, And author finds that relationship between the final gradient is related to the initial parameters with the help of quadratic regularizer actually. We will see this optimization in further slides also, as if it is written as inner loop and outer loop. So what about the governing equation here? So so the search of best meta learning parameter is completed by gradient descent to minimize the cost function argmin x such that, or in our case theta, that is argmin theta, f theta, that is the outer level, and the inner level f theta is um, f theta is the average of the loss function such that your task specific testing dataset and prediction of the neural network, that is task specific testing dataset and prediction of your neural network, uh, are close to each other, right? You want to make this prediction and your ground truth close to each other, right? So note that note that there is no dependence on the task here. As you can see here, there is no dependency on the task because these are global parameters, okay? And the neural network is trained on the task specific training dataset while updating the global parameter theta, right? That is your initial random parameter, okay? So in simpler words, you keep the global parameters the same theta and keep on iterative optimization of the same theta while training the learning algorithm on task specific training dataset with respect to predictions of the task specific neural network and task specific testing data, right? So this loss has to be minimized to converge faster, and the meta parameter and the gradient step on the training dataset is the inner level of I mammal, and the algorithm component in the inner level starts from the meta parameters and runs gradient steps of the training dataset, that is gradient loss. And this is the first step for your global parameter, and then further steps are task specific parameters, and those are getting updated with iterative optimization procedure, okay? So coming to this next slide, in this slide I will explain the key algorithm. What is the key algorithm? So step one in this algorithm one, step one says that that is the general prerequisites of the learning algorithm, and step two says that run this loop until convergence. In the loop, in that same loop, step 3 says that just like in meta learning we have tasks coupled in outer level of the learning algorithm, here also we are pulling the task to learn in our algorithm from the pool of tasks. The pool of tasks we have already defined in step 1, right? Or what you can say more precisely, say that distribution of tasks as in meta learning, that this is what you do, right? Like training two learning criterion. First one is the task specific learner and another is the globally training criteria, where you update the theta values using task specific loss function, that is the global theta, right? So step 4 and 5 says that compute the meta gradient for each task, and then in step 7 take a global average of those gradients for the outer parameter. This is what you are doing here also, right? You are taking the global average of all those task specific parameters, and and the global parameter, the one you started with, and then in step 8 do the gradient descent, right? So yes, in the algorithm 2, uh, in this algorithm, like implicit meta gradient computation, the core problem is to find the best guess of the parameter theta such that your gradient descent converges faster in the outer level. This is your outer level and this is the inner level, right? So here particularly in the inner level, the parameter that you had initialized in beginning with random guess called meta parameter has to be updated iteratively. This is the sole criteria of your implicit mammal, okay? that is implicit model agnostic meta learning, and your meta gradient computation, right? So this is the key procedure that you have to follow. And as a step 3, in algorithm 2 says that obtain task parameters using iterative optimization solver such that there exists an upper bound delta. Your delta has to be there, and there exists an upper bound delta such that your task specific parameter and your global parameter have to be close to each other. And this delta is introduced because you don't want to memorize completely your tasks, right? You don't want to overfit here. So to prevent from overfit and generalize better, the author has put an upper bound of delta such that you do not memorize by really completely optimizing the problem, but to remain closer to the optimal solution, to become suboptimal convergence, right? So this is the thing which step 2 and 3 says. Now there is one computationally expensive task we are dealing here. Okay, so this matrix is highly nonlinear in your regular mammal. Okay, but what author have devised is multiplying your gradient with invertible matrix. But the catch is, like, you are not completely inverting your matrix. Okay, this is invertible matrix, but you don't want to invert it completely, but instead you just want to multiply your gradient with this matrix. And you want to generate something which is as closer as this, I mean, which is as closer as the inversion of this matrix. Okay, with an upper bound of your delta dash. So in simpler words, that is like the important part of the contribution of paper, because what the standard procedure has been doing is inverting the matrix blindly. Okay, and that became highly computationally expensive. So the authors say that don't do that. Uh, Instead multiply the gradient with your invertible matrix and calculate something that is your GI, that is close to the second term in your equation. This is your second term, right? And that has to be upper bounded by your delta dash, because you don't want to memorize it, right? Again, so this was the key algorithm and contribution by the authors. Now the limitations. So unless experimented, we cannot say anything about using the stochastic gradient descent here, as author has not covered the usage of SGD procedure or using stochasticity in the optimization procedure. So so it is expected that introducing SGD may cause the learning procedure to converge speedily, because rather than doing iterative optimization, you will reach your threshold delta maybe very quickly than your standard gradient descent procedure, and could help in updating the initial random guessing parameter to update faster. So stochasticity may help you to bring randomness in convergence, and may help you to converge faster also for your outer level optimization. Okay, now there is one more thing, like in general standard machine learning criteria, you follow Bayesian optimization to fetch your optimal hyperparameters, right? So one can think of like anchor point theta 0 as the mean of the prior distribution over the neural network weights. And in the Bayesian interpretation of imaml, the inner loop of the algorithm, or this part uh, this part has to be this part then finds the maximum a posteriori, that is map approximation, right, to the posteriori over theta given the data set in question. So this is assuming that the loss is log likelihood of some kind, right? But the question is, how should one update these meta parameters using Bayesian optimization, and your searching for the best parameter theta, right? So this has to be put more emphasis on study. And yeah, like in IML can be used with a variety of inner loop algorithms, right? Whatever you have. So what we have been, I mean, I have been telling outer and inner loop and or outer and inner level interchangeably continuously. So whatever the model adapts from environment is done by your outer loops, okay, or your outer level optimizations, and whatever the adaptation happens inside your model, this is termed as your inner level or inner loop, okay. So outer loop deals with your environment and inner level deals with your inner learning criteria. All right. So this is what we are saying, like whatever be the outer loop, we want to optimize the inner loop with varieties of learning procedures, including dynamic programming methods such as q learning, to play adversarial games such as GANs, and restricted Boltzmann machine also can be used, like energy based models. So this is what author is yet trying to explore, or someone can explore in this direction, because author have also mentioned somewhere that they could have used this dynamic programming method such as q learning for their inner loops, and this has opened a research direction as well to add to add multiple kinds of this inner level criteria. So, what are the key takeaways? So, the key takeaways are like meta learning with smart initialization and debunking inner and outer components of your meta learning with iMaml, and how implicit gradients in outer level global parameter theta can help in faster convergence. And these two key takeaways are also important, like so earlier what we were following for gradient descent optimization is like following the same path, but it has optimized, and it has brought up a new direction of thought process, that you don't want to use the gradient descent, just use your optimization criteria with your final task specific parameters, and your initial random parameters, and update those parameters. And this is what we have seen earlier also, right? You want to find out that GI such that you don't want to do the gradient descent, and don't want to invert your matrix, and instead you want to find that G parameter which is as close as this product of your gradient and some matrix which is mentioned here. So these were the references, and that was all. Thank you.